All right, let's see. I have sound. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody. Today, we are talking about the 5 types of boundaries that every empath needs. And 4 of those boundaries have very little to do with anybody else. What I've discovered over the years as being an empathic soul myself and many trial and errors around boundaries is that your boundaries begin inside you. And the mistake that so many empaths make is we're focusing because this is part of our survival strategy, the fawning mechanism in the nervous system, is we are focused outside of ourselves and watching what everyone else is doing. And so when an empath creates a boundary, what is required is to bring the focus back to you, which can be very uncomfortable for an empath. And we're not used to doing that. We're way more used to focusing on other. So drop in the chat. Let me know how you are on your boundary game. Like, do you think you have boundaries nailed? Are boundaries something you really want to cultivate more? Have you been practicing your boundaries for a while and you've learned some things? I would love to know. So just drop in the chat for me. All right. So our boundaries become most effective when they begin with you. And as a people pleaser in recovery, as I said, I have done a lot of practicing and studying about boundaries. And when we are healing the people pleaser mechanism, when we are healing the empath, the shadow side of the empath, and this is really important, it's the shadow side of the empath. The empath is very skilled and highly intuitive. But we develop these ideas of people pleasing because it puts us into this fawning state. So I made 3 big mistakes when I started putting up boundaries and practicing boundaries. First one was I was expecting people to read my mind. I expected people to just know what I needed and how I was feeling. I also expected people to read my body language, to understand me and how I felt in any moment. I I mean, we're good at that, but not everybody else is. And then the third mistake, which was my biggest mistake, was that I was not clear about my own deepest needs and desires. So through this very trial and error, making mistakes, figuring things out, doing a lot of studying, I learned that there are 5 types of boundaries. So the first type is a mental boundary or relating to your mind. And this means that your mind needs a chance to be clear. You need a calm space. Your mind's not going to be clear 100% of the time, but your mind needs clarity and calmness so that you can weed out, filter through what's yours and what belongs to other. You need time to process and think through things. And I personally did a lot of this through writing, through journaling, just getting the gunk out. If you've ever done the artist's way, this is called morning pages. You just write and write and write and write and write. And that really helps give clarity of mind when you're working with mental boundaries, which are the first type of boundary that you have that is required for an empath. And so again, if you're watching, let me know where you are in your boundary game. Are you like, I got boundaries nailed? Are you trying to figure them out? You're doing some new practices, or you're like, I really need to figure boundaries out. So the mind and mental boundary gives you clarity about your internal process. Second types of boundaries are action or your physical boundaries. And this is all about how you take care of your physical body. Your physical body holds your nervous system. And it's through your physicality and your nervous system that your body knows that you are safe. And so, if you are not connected to your body and you're trying to put up boundaries, you're not actually hearing what your body needs from you. And so, number two, part of the five types of boundaries is action or your physicality. And most people pleasers or empaths are not in their bodies because there's a level of dissociation or fawning that is happening through this place. And so the goal is to bring yourself back into your body. And you can do this through exercise, going for a walk, going out in nature is so good to regulate your nervous system. Breathing doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just putting your hand on your body and taking a few breaths. This will bring you back into your experience in the physical so that you can then know what your body is asking of you, right? If you meet someone and your body, you get this clenching inside of you, and you can't notice that because you're existing in your fawning people pleaser state, you're not going to hear your body go, this person isn't good for me. And then you're not going to be able to take a space and take action, physical steps to create that boundary for yourself because your body is telling you that this person is not good for me. All right. So, five types of boundaries. We covered mental, the mind. We've covered action or physical. The third type, which is one of my favorites to work with empaths around, which I'm going to be doing in my devoted, my 2-day free challenge, devoted. At the end of October, the link to join is down in the show notes, is verbal. How do we communicate when we need? A very common experience that many empaths have is their throat chakra is shut down. Your throat chakra might be shut down. You choke on your words when someone asks your opinion. You don't know what to say. This is so, so, so common. And this is in some way very directly related to your physical and your nervous system as well. If your throat is closed off, you can't ask for your needs, which are related to your boundaries. So I needed to heal my throat, which a very simple way to do this is humming. And this is very directly related to your vagus nerve. And it's something that I go into depth with my clients on how to cultivate a practice. But in a really easy way is just start humming, and that will stimulate your vagus nerve, and it will signify to your vagus nerve that you're safe when you hum. And it will also then bring energy into your throat chakra so you can start communicating what it is that you need, i.e., talking about your boundaries with the people that you love. And so after doing this, you also then need to start speaking what you need, practicing using your voice and actually speaking what's inside of you and what's important to you to other people. And so practicing this with a friend, with a therapist, with a coach in my free 2-day challenge, I'm going to give you my little system where you can like write out exactly how to speak what you need. Because a big part of being an empath is that we get really scared about how our boundaries impact other people and how other people feel. And so when an empath has a bit of a script, we get to consider self and other equally, which is very important for empaths and sensitive souls because we are really wired to care for others. So when I started practicing this, I really started gaining the confidence. And now it's quite easy for me to say, hey, I'm feeling this. I need this. I love you. Can we do this? And if we don't do it this way, I'm going to have to do something to take care of myself. It gets easy, but it's practice. right? We always have to practice these new ways of being when we're trying to heal a part of ourselves that is operating in a mask in which we tried to get protection when we were children, or safety or connection. All right, so the fourth boundary is energetic. And this is really important as an empath or a sensitive soul because your energy, you are everyone has this ability, but empaths and sensitive have this heightened ability. We are designed to operate in the world like this. And so you are picking up on the energy in a room. You are picking up on the energy of people, and this is their auras. You're picking up on the auric field, the electromagnetic field that surrounds all of us, including your space that you live in. And so the number one way that I find is super important, actually, there's two, sorry, there's two, is to ground into the earth. You need to be grounded. And a really simple way to do this is put your bare feet on the ground. And then I teach ways that we can ground. You bring energy up into your system and you receive the loving support of the earth so that you stay in your body, so that you are connected to your own energy field instead of being scattered out elsewhere. And then we also clear your aura. So we use the energy of the earth and we use the energy of the cosmos to clear your auric field so that you are pristine within yourself. So you can tell the difference between you and other, because this is where empaths and sensitive souls get really confused with their boundaries, we have a hard time figuring out what is mine and what is other. And so when you clear your aura, when you become adept at doing this, you have this natural energetic boundary around you. And then, third, understanding your human design strategy. This tells you your particular unique way that your aura works. If you're a generator, your aura is going to work differently than if you're a projector, a reflector, or a manifester. Okay, so we've got mind, mental boundaries; action, physical boundaries; verbal, throat boundaries; 4, energetic boundaries. And then the fifth boundary is the one that so many of us know. It's our protection boundaries. This is when we draw a line in the sand and it is a hard no. Those protection boundaries, that when someone violates us, when someone crosses a line, those protection boundaries are actually, they are only required most of the time, not only, but most of the time required when you have not held up or become very aware and adept at your first 4 boundaries. It's very rare to have to put up a protection boundary if you've been holding and working with the first 4 boundaries. And then, this is really good, is that when you're so adept at those first 4 boundaries, the 5th boundary, the protection boundary, is actually a fuck ton easier to put into place because you're so clear about who you are that saying no and drawing that line in the sand is easier. So when you can be in your body, when you can speak your needs, when you know how to clear your aura, and when you have a clear mind and know what your inner thoughts are, those protection boundaries are way easier to put in place and you don't have to use them as much. So I really hope that was helpful. If you want to dive deeper into this, I am going into this on October 26th and October 27th. Deeper into boundaries, you'll find the link to join that in the show notes below. And I would love to hear how these boundaries resonate with you: the mental, the verbal, the physical, the energetic, and then the protection boundaries. And let me know how they all go. Thanks so much and have a lovely, beautiful day.